Say, yo, it's Bam Bam Mo back with media. Now, look, we've talked about, many different principles of the God body when it comes to, how, the spiritual realm or the etheric realm or in these other spiritual spaces will manifest things into the physical realm. We're talking, especially when we're talking about the body and we're talking about, the soul and different things that's been housed inside of the body and different things like that, right? So, but the principle of Sekhem, and here the words I say Sekhem, teach you about the spark of life and how the spark of life is in tune with breathing and inhaling, exhaling, or oxygen. We're talking about air, like shu. So basically, as you intake oxygen, right, you understand that oxygen is this life giver, right? So as you intake oxygen, it's called the breath of life or the spark. What happens is the every molecule in your body dies, and as every molecule in your body dies, it is replaced by another through the data that comes from the genetics or the genes or from the DNA. And so as this happens, it is replaced, and as you breathe out, you're basically exhaling all the carbon dioxide and the waste from the lungs that enters the lungs. So as it goes through you're talking about as the DNA instructs the molecules to be replaced, and then it goes through these cellular changes, and then the cells in your body you're able to produce more white blood cells and red blood cells inside the bone marrow. You know that this will then be given to the rest of the body to be utilized. I mean, and the excess will be sent through the lymphatic system and all these other systems to be produced as waste, as you know what I'm saying, as things that we don't need. And we're talking about also gas, and we're talking about carbon dioxide coming out of the body. So this is what happens with the spark of life when you're talking about Sekhem. You're talking about how we come to life, how we're talking about even the breath of life in the Bible. When they're speaking on the Bible, it's the same thing. They're talking about the oxygen, like shu. So you have a nerve called the laryngeal nerve, or the laryngeal seat that sits next to this larynx, right? The larynx gland. And pretty much this nerve is like, it goes up to the medulla oblongata of the brainstem, and it goes up into the brain. So you're talking about this principle of Sekhem pretty much is teaching you how the spark of life is in tune with breathing in and out. The oxygen goes to the brain, the oxygen that goes throughout the body, and different things like that. So oxygen is a diatomic molecule, and it has the ability to cause division in things, and it has the ability to bring life into this space. But when you're talking about you putting oxygen, and when you're combining when you're forming molecules with oxygen and hydrogen. But that being said, because you'll have a medium, the plane of medium would be H2O. But that being said, if that's the medium plane, that's the balance point, or the fourth, like the heart chakra. But what I'm trying to get people to understand is, although there's many different aspects of creation, all comes from one unified field of existence that we call a circle or a whole. So what I'm saying is this, is you have wholeness and you have unification of everything at one state of being. In another state of being, you have division and separation through electric force. You feel what I'm saying? And magnetism will radiate things out and cause things to come back together, or to be structured back up again. So what I'm saying is, ultimately, spirit and soul, not spirit and soul, I'm sorry. Soul and body are only two aspects of the same thing, just that the soul sends out all the spirit and the shell of the body and everything else. So everything else comes off of the soul. But the soul is the invisible force that is always there. This invisible fire seed that we always talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's invisible, and then it's subtle. It's more of a subtle energy that's there. You feel it. Versus the body is material. It's gross. It's dense. It's very heavy. It's very when you talk about weight, it's gonna weigh a lot more think about metal compared to oxygen. Think about, and I'm not talking about a metal in its higher state of being when it's not an actual physical metal, because then they have things called monoatomic gold and many different elements like that that are out in space. Because you're talking about lighter the element, the lighter the density, or the lighter the volume, the weight, the mass. So we're talking about, you know, what does a black hole do? Consume all mass and light inside of it. You get what I'm saying? So to birth something would to be for it to come through, you know, go from a black hole and come out of a white hole, or come out of what they call a the North Star. But not to get too off topic, what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that spirit and matter is still one unification of energy, even though everything appears separate. Now, you know, as somebody that's a guru, or somebody that is very in tune with when it comes to breathing, and it comes to, you know, just being able to understand the body, one thing you have to understand is this. I mean, and not just the physical body, but the spiritual bodies and the mental bodies. But especially when you talk about the breath of life and the chakras, you want to be able to do meditation. You want to be able to breathe, do yoga. You want to be able to stretch. You want to be able to breathe in slow in, and be able to breathe out slowly. Depending on, they have fire breaths and different they have pranayama and different ones, but you be able to utilize these things called tai chi, pranayama, hadu, and various other techniques of breathing techniques. And I know, I'm sorry, my camera getting darker, y'all, but of breathing techniques, right? And these breathing techniques will ultimately upgrade you to a whole nother level and a whole nother experience. Like, you will be able to feel the vitality and the life force that comes from the ability to breathe. You know what I'm saying? So, so y'all have to be able to make use of these principles of Sekhem, make use of these principles of the different parts of the soul, to be able to understand how things are manifested in the physical reality, and you can use these things to ultimately make your life a whole lot better. It's an easy knowing once you really know yourself. So it's just constant study of this and of this information right here if you really want to learn. Now, if you want just, you know, you want just a entertaining, you know, you want an entertaining video, you want a video that just seems cool to watch or whatever, you can watch it. It's going to still enlighten you. But the reason I even do the principles of the God body videos is because this is teaching you so much about yourself, to where you really reach a whole nother state of a spiritual enlightenment and a spiritual being. You feel what I'm saying? Like, think about how many people on this earth are constantly giving themselves to something else instead of going inside themselves to really put all the keys together. Like we say, you want to open the seals, right? You want to open, be able to read these scrolls that are within you, because a scroll is a chakra, and the chakra relates to energy. So you want to be able to be in tune, or be able to recollect these memories that are held within your data, and be able to tap into these larger fields that are, you know, the larger states of being when we're talking about the higher self. It's really not a complicated thing, but remember, we're forgetting a lot of the stuff that we think we supposed to know, and we're going into what we should know. Now, make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe. I always got more coming. If y'all want to support, you feel me, I always down support. Cash App, I don't got Cash App no more, but just if y'all want to support, I got my buy me a coffee link in my YouTube description. Make sure I go support, check out. Hey, I got plenty more coming for y'all. Appreciate y'all.